Hello everyone, Brett the Comic Novice here, and this is the third and final video for the month of May on the AAPI We Are Legend series that DC Comics is doing, the City Boy. The who was asking for City Boy, which, that was brought up for the Spirit World by somebody in my comic book store, that generally that would be for their preference, and they were left asking the question, who wanted this? Now, this character, unlike the previous two, actually made an appearance before the Lazarus Planet event or whatever that I did not read. They actually appeared in, and it says, for the details for the series, is we first see in Wildstorm 30th Anniversary Special and Lazarus Planet Legends Reborn, there is a new Korean hero named City Boy, or at least that's the best translation to what the cities call him. City Boy, aka Cameron Kim, is just trying to make a living by using his powers of being able to speak to cities and find lost and hidden goods to pawn. So that's, the setup of the whole thing, and I feel as though maybe that's all I needed to read. Now, remember, they did compile for free on also Comixology, as well as I believe they also compiled it on DC Infinite Universe app, the 3 stories that go along with this from the Lazarus Planet. However, again, I'm taking this as a comic novice reader. Even though I do know that it exists, I feel as though this is number 1, and it should, for all my understanding, explain everything that I need to know about this series, because again, number 1s should be setting the stage. And from the very beginning, we do have the kind of set up origin story of almost child abandonment for this Cameron Kim, where he gets dropped off with his grandpa and his mom leaves him. And then of course we see, we fast forward a couple of years or a couple decades later, and he is obviously a city boy on the street. And there's a couple things that I have questions about regarding this issue. It's not bad. I think that this is probably the middle of the road for the 3 We Are Legends. I think that the Vigil, for me personally, has more intrigue compared to the rest of the comic series. I do, however, am kind of curious to find out a little bit more. I think this one leaves you kind of wanting more, and it doesn't really explain a lot, but what it explains, it leaves you with questions. And so I think that that's one thing that kind of will have me probably coming back for, well, again, this is free for the DC Infinite Universe app, so I will at least be back for those ones. However, I've picked up the Vigil in my local comic book store, and I will be picking this up physically because it's already on my pre-orders, so when that comes out. So I am invested at least in 2 of the 3 AAPI comics for the next 6 months or so. We get kind of like a whole setup about how he can, and kind of like the synopsis says, find lost treasures within the city. We have a fellow, vagrant homeless person that is with him. And the one thing that I'm kind of curious about, which I've read this a couple times, and I'm not sure that it really does a good job of explaining, is it almost feels as though his friend, his cohort, his, down and out colleague or whatever, I'm not sure if he knows about his City Boy's powers or whatever, because it feels as though at one point in time that he is sold out. And I'm trying to figure out when or if that happened, or if there was just kind of like a little skip in dialogue, or maybe we'll find that out in issue number 2. I do like some of the artwork, but however, he communicates with the city talks to him, and as he's walking through like an alleyway, he touches the side of a building, and the building, the bricks kind of like move, and then as he drags his hand with his fist in anger, you kind of see the interior architecture of the entirety of the building. So again, I think there's a little bit more intrigue about this future character, or in what his power set is actually. Maybe it tells in the Wildstorm and also Lazarus Planet. Again, I don't think that I should have to read that to be able to understand what is going on. we do get the origin story, how he was probably, as a 20-year-old, wrong place at the wrong time while an evil scientist was experimenting on, what was he experimenting on? He had a city planner, an architect, I think a crime lord or whatever, and a politician. Who else did he have? Yeah, a mastermind. Yeah. So he had a whole bunch of people he set up with this machine, and it looks like either it's devouring them, incorporating them into his machine, and the essence of this machine seeks out Cameron Kim, and that's how he gets the power. So again, wrong place at the wrong time. I'm glad this isn't like, he got rained on by the Lazarus Planet rain, and that's how he got his powers. I like, mad scientists creating something. I feel as though that kind of can possibly add to, at least you have a character that you're fighting against for a little bit, or maybe this, mad scientist is just trying to better the world. However, talk to James Bond villains, and they're also trying to better the world also, but it does take some destroying of the world to do so. Again, we kind of get back and forth between current day and his origin story with being experimented on. We have a mob boss who, again, somehow he does know, and maybe the artwork when he first appears, maybe this mastermind, maybe this local crime boss, maybe he has some powers too that we will learn about a little bit later. So that's going to be kind of interesting to follow up on. I'm really again, this is a very intriguing story. I think there's a lot more to this. There's more questions than I have, but I like that it's not like 100% spoon feeding you every single thing and every single aspect. It does require, I think, time and patience, which, as a couple of commenters on this channel has reminded me, what, don't be rash to judgment. Take some time. Just because one issue is not good does not mean the series is bad, or the entirety of like the whole scheme is. So again, I do appreciate all the commenters. Thank you for the feedback. I do appreciate it. What did you think if you read The City Boy? Was this up your alley? I know a couple people not into the Vigil, some kind of like the Spirit World, some did not. I think I'll continue reading all of them, but I'm not sure I will do any further videos on them, but because I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it brings. Whatever. Again, what did you think? Like, subscribe down below. Would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I will see you in the dollar back section. I don't know if this book is going to be in there, but it is in my pull list, so we'll see that. Thanks. Bye. Who is what? Oh, okay. All right. There we are.